Hi, I'm Randy Reed, editor of Designing Lighting magazine, and I am on vacation today, but I wanted to learn a little bit more about this wonderful upcoming show, Illuminate at NeoCon. And I am joined by Abraham Moore of Moore Lights, and he's going to tell us all about it. So, Avi, welcome.
Howdy, Randy. I wish I was where you were today, but it's a beautiful 60 degrees in Chicago today. So
Okay, well,
I'll
you can't
take
beat 60 degrees in February in Chicago. That's a good deal.
I'll take
Now,
it. Yeah.
speaking of Chicago, NeoCon and Illuminate. Tell us a little bit about it.
So, Randy, it's amazing. We have these trade shows that I see you at and I see all my competitors at and some great manufacturers at. But you know what's lacking in our industry is talking outside of ourselves. I say it constantly. We are one of the best industries at talking to ourselves. Um, but we're not the ones who make the end decisions. We have architects and developers and owners that make decisions. And I am so excited to have Illuminated Neocon give what I would say one of the first, if that I'm aware of. I'm sure other people will correct it, but an amazing opportunity for the lighting industry to talk outside of ourselves to an important audience. 50,000 some attendees that come to NeoCon every year, and to have a situation where we get to talk to these folks about light and get them to see the light. And their attendees are interior designers, architects, owners, developers. I heard a story of a famous tech company that walked around last year and just happened to see one manufacturer. They thought their product was really amazing and placed a massive order. Um, this is a unique atmosphere. The Merchandise Mart, right? One of the largest buildings in North America.
Well, I was reading that NeoCon has a 50-year history. I had no idea they had been around that long. And let's talk a little bit about Illuminate. Will Illuminate be in one particular section of the show, or will it be lighting companies spread out through the show?
No, so the goal is to have all the lighting companies kind of in an Illuminate area. In addition, there will be an Illuminate stage. So there'll be sessions that will be announced here shortly, specifically focusing on light as it pertains to the audience of NeoCon. This isn't about educating lighting people about lighting. This is about educating non-lighting people about the importance of lighting, like we do on the podcast, Lighting Matters. Really, it's about bridging that gap of knowledge and understanding, and hopefully we get some attendees to walk out of the conference and out of some of these sessions saying, "Wow, I hire a structural engineer because they understand the structure, and I hire a mechanical engineer because they understand the mechanical, and I hire an electrical engineer because they understand watts and voltages and switch gear and all kinds of things that I'm not even giving it justice." But that fourth visual that I have in my building is lighting. And shouldn't I have somebody managing what the interior finishes I'm selecting will look like in the building? And shouldn't they be somebody who is a trained professional? Dare they be a certified lighting designer or a International Association of Lighting Design professional, as opposed to a manufacturer, a rep, a distributor, a showroom, whomever else they may be using at this time. And I'm hoping that's what we start to bring through Illuminated NeoCon.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, and I really hope the content is curated for the non-lighting audience because I do think that is a key to it. The show is June 7th, 8th, and 9th. Is that correct?
That's correct. It actually goes through the 10th. There's a preview day on June 7th. And then the show is June 8, 9, and 10 in Chicago at the Merchandise Mart.
And then I also saw, I think it cost zero to walk the show.
That's my understanding. I believe there are some caveats to like late entry. There might be a small fee, but yeah, for all intents and purposes, it's a free show.
I have seen the list of exhibitors, and there are some great architectural lighting design companies there so far.
Very much so. I'm very excited. I've been working with the Mart on this. And I mean, I literally it came out of a question I presented as well as a few other people to NeoCon last year saying, "Hey, how's lighting going?" And their response was, "It is the number one thing that our attendees ask us to fill in."
Really?
But Randy, you have to remember that this is an audience that looks at decorative lighting as the only solution to light. Actually, one of the sessions I think that will be part of NeoCon is really, you know, you need downlights as well as decorative. I actually just walked through a space recently. A couple of interior designers told me it was amazing in Chicago. I walked through it. It was only lit with decorative illumination. And that's really great. But what about that fill and what about that balance? And what about the light at the elevator threshold, right? There are things you have to connect all these pieces together. And that's what lighting does. So I think bringing Illuminate and bringing some of the manufacturers that I've brought with USAI, Lumini, and there's some other brands that are coming. Like these aren't core manufacturers that an interior designer might look at as a decorative element, but there's definitely a lot of things that those manufacturers have that you need to potentially light your space. And you have to learn not only about how to apply those products, but what's the story? What are you trying to do to use those products, right? And hopefully with the sessions that are very well curated, by the way, that will help people to start to think, oh, yeah, I got to think beyond the under cabinet light.
Well, I understand. And you've taught me well over the years about the importance of layers of light. And we
Layers
need
of light.
different layers. And so I think this will happen. So, all right, wrapping up here, do you know of, I saw the exhibitor fee, I believe was 7,500 for a 10 by 10. Do you know of any other way to get in front of 50,000 influencers for $7,500 anywhere in the world?
No. And one of the things that I kind of really pushed NeoCon to do was to create a small fee package that included power, because we're lighting people. We all need power. A little bit of drayage. This is Chicago. We are a union town, and the Merchandise Mart is a union building. And they did it. And I think that's impressive, right? Like I don't want to I want to be cautious with my words, but I don't think that there's another opportunity that any manufacturer might spend and get to an audience they have not been in front of to be able to tell the story of why they should be using the professionals that they support. I also recognize that we're an interesting industry and something new, especially with 50 years of history with NeoCon, can be a little bit scary. But think of it this way. This is the ground. This is the ground level of something incredible. And what could happen if this, imagine what will happen when this is successful and what we can do at an industry at maybe other trade shows where all of our customers go to, as opposed to continuing to do shows where we talk to ourselves. I
Well,
think this is the future.
it is. And there are new shows that sprout up. Some do well, some don't do well, but they're all starting from ground zero. to your point, this is a new show, but it's got 50,000 attendees coming. So it really can't, it's really a no lose situation.
Yeah,
I don't see how it cannot work because you've got such a huge base coming already.
I would say where it will fail for a manufacturer who wants to exhibit is thinking that you can exhibit like you do at any other lighting show. I love the NeoCon world, the attendees. I love my customers and clients, but there's a reason why I have a podcast called Lighting Matters. It's because there's a lot of people that don't elevate lighting to the level that I believe it should be. So there is that challenge to a manufacturer that you can't just bring a bunch of downlights and think that you're going to make an interior designer super excited about your product. I think, not to, to be cautious here, but they don't care about those things. What they care about is creating an amazing environment for their customers. They care about the quality of material, the quality of feeling, right? They care about those things. How do you tell that story? That is difficult.
Okay, now that is a huge point, and I didn't think about that. I would just assume the manufacturers would show what they show at every other show. But you're right, it's a different audience and they need to be prepared. Last question, we're going to wrap up. You mentioned the podcast. Will you and Lisa be filming the podcast from the show?
Absolutely. We will be recording at Illuminate and a few other non-lighting shows this year.
Okay. Well, that all sounds exciting. Avi, thank you so much. I appreciate the time today.
Thanks, Randy.